So I found this post on the Pokemon TCG subreddit that I wanted to share with you all. This is a very interesting video that has recently resurfaced. I saw this post also on the Poke Investing subreddit. It's very interesting because as of today, Pokemon investing is very polarizing. There's two sides of the thing. One side are people that do not like Pokemon investing. They say that it's evil. They say that this space is all about just opening everything and just enjoying the cards, not caring about value. The collecting side. Now, there's nothing wrong with that side, but those people think Pokemon investing is maybe unethical because you should just open everything up. Now, obviously, that's for a debate because at the end of the day, if you open up, keep it sealed, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Does it really change anything? Not really. But people that are collectors generally do not like the thought that somebody is going to make money off of this space. That's why investing really is not liked by collectors because they just don't like to talk about value and money because for them the whole space is just about collecting the cards and just liking the artwork, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is the side of people that do think that Pokemon investing and talking about value is bad. Now the other side is obviously the side I'm on, where Pokemon, you know I see it so far, from recent history, that it's a pretty lucrative investment, right? We can see, very, high percentage gains in a short period of time. Obviously, it's an alternative investment, but I see the potential of this space, and I've seen the gains. And me, I didn't, initially get into Pokemon just for the money, but I was already interested in Pokemon. I, found this side of investing, and now I've been doing it for 4 years, and I'm very glad that I entered the space. But like I said, this whole space right now is very polarizing, especially because product is very scarce. But I want to show you guys this video from this Reddit post. You know, People think Pokemon investing itself is a new thing, that value it has only recently started being talked about and people started caring about. Now, one thing I'll say is this: has it gotten more mainstream recently? 100%. People now more than ever talk about value, talk about the future potential of stuff, talk about how much is this thing worth, how much is this thing in a PSA 10, more than ever. I can agree with that. But the one thing some people, mainly collectors, don't understand is that people have been talking about value since the beginning, really, but it wasn't as mainstream. And back then, there were still people investing. There were still people keeping sealed product. I mean, you see that all the time on these news articles. You see these people saying, "Oh, I bought this for my son or whatever, and I just kept an extra one just to have." People have been doing this obviously on a smaller scale back then, but value in investing and speculating on Pokemon has always been a thing, and this video just sort of proves that. So you can see the title of this is Graded Pokemon Cards Were Already Being Speculated on back in the year 2000. So this is one of those television networks where they just I guess show stuff for people to buy. I mean, this is like ancient times we're talking about here. This is 25 years ago. I don't think this is really much of a thing anymore. But here they're advertising for a set of graded Pokemon cards from Neo. So very interesting. I'm gonna show you guys this video, and yeah, it's crazy because this is that long ago when value wasn't being talked about as much, but still there was that talk, at least from this show, which proves that value in this space in collectibles and Pokemon has been a thing. But like I said, I do agree now it's being more talked about than ever, but it's always been there somewhat. So just gonna show you guys this clip. So enjoy watching this.
Is Pokemon PSA graded cards. I've got Ken Golden on the phone. Kenny, are you there?
Yes, I am, Betty.
Well,
Thank you.
Kenny, we have got the Neo Promo PSA Gem Min set. We have got a set that nobody can get in the United States, and we've got it graded. They're all Gem Min 10?
All nine
my
cards are gem. This could be a $20,000 item, and here's why.
You see this? $20,000 item. I like how she acts really surprised. Like I don't think she knows anything about Pokemon to be honest. But this person, whoever's on the phone, is saying that this could be worth $20,000. Now, someone do the math. I don't think that's true. Maybe it is. I don't. What cards are they showing here? Like, uh, yeah, I don't think these are $20,000. But you can see they're talking about value, and you can see you can make three payments of $333. So it's like about $1,000 for all these nine cards. And this person is claiming that maybe one day they'll be worth $20,000. But like I said, I don't think that's the case. You guys maybe can search this up to see how much it's really worth. And inflation and stuff. 25 years ago, you got to think about that. I don't know if you'd be up on your investment. Maybe I don't really know, to be honest, because here are all the cards. You guys can do the math if you want. But let's just keep watching the video. But just wanted to point a few things.
Why? Every single solitary card is a gem mint 10. Let me repeat this.
Wow.
You are getting a complete set of Pokemon cards where every single solitary card is a PSA Gem Mint 10. Again, let's call this Neo PSA 10 Gem Mint 10.
We're changing it.
This is, people, I'm going to tell you something right now. And I know this isn't for everybody.
I know this isn't for everybody. Sounds like how it is today as well. People, it's not for everybody, still to this day. So, interesting video, right? This person obviously talking about value, speculating it could be worth $20,000, which if you bought it for $1,000, which at the time you can see you can make three payments of this amount, which if you do the math, three times this, it's about $1,000. You'd be 20x, or they're claiming you could 20x in some time frame, which who knows. Obviously, they're just trying to advertise so you can buy this. They probably didn't know this was going to happen, obviously, like in the space and how Pokemon would keep continuing to grow. But it's very interesting to see that even on a television network, obviously they're trying to sell this stuff, but that it was being, framed as a potential investment. That's the big thing you get from this. And this is just one example. People, I mean, you could go back on YouTube. There are people that made videos 10 years ago that were buying base set booster boxes, Aquapolis booster boxes, Skyridge booster box, all these older booster boxes for like $300 to $500, and those people were buying like one of each or a couple of each, and they were sort of collecting slash investing. It's more like collecting slash investing, but people have been doing this for pretty much the beginning of time, right? But it has just gotten more mainstream. Now, this brings up the argument people make. Well, there's too much now. Too many people are doing this. And I'm not going to get into that whole argument because I've talked about it a lot on this channel. But one thing I will just quickly mention is that, people don't always hold to the end of time. And people, will continue to enter the space as, Pokemon, if it continues to grow at the rate it's been growing, I don't believe this will be a huge problem in the future. That, yeah, since more people are doing it, that it's not going to be worth anything in the future. I think we've seen enough evidence with Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon to really see that. It seems like when every time somebody says that, it just doesn't happen, right? There's more than ever. Everyone's just holding, and we're just not seeing any signs that is true. If anything, the gains we're seeing now are more exponential than we've ever seen previously with some other eras where investing wasn't as talked about. So interesting post. So let's just read some of the comments, and you guys can comment down below what you think about this sort of, I guess, commercial or infomercial. Do you think this is very interesting? Maybe have you seen this back then in the day? I think it's very interesting. This is definitely not my time, but interesting to see that this was actually on like a television sort of network or whatever, advertising Pokemon graded cards as an investment back in, I guess, the year 2000. So let's read some of the comments here. People that have been holding packs have been around since base set. Yes. Yeah, so this is a thing that people used to do. It's like it's obviously not a big amount of people, like a large amount of people, but people always had this, well, some people had this thought of Pokemon being potentially worth something one day. And you can see some people saying that. Thanks for posting this. It really puts things into perspective. I was a kid back then, so I had no idea adults were buying Pokemon cards as an investment. Funny how this guy sounds just like one of those investor YouTubers, lol. So, I mean, yeah, sounds like me. This aged like milk. Current market price of these PSA 10 cards, I guess they're giving some examples of what those cards are actually worth. This is the future of most products slash slabs from today, guaranteed. Way too much of it exists. It's 90s Star Wars toys all over. Now, I'm not going to even touch on this topic, but hey, if you guys want to mention it and comment down below what you guys think about this person's take, you guys can go crazy because just these comparisons everyone makes, I just never agree. My mom bought this Japanese Neo Genesis set for me when I was a kid. I can't remember how much it was, but my dad was mad. Well, if it was from this infomercial, they paid $1,000. So, just want to show you guys this because it's interesting that till this day, people just think investing, value. It's only recently this has been talked about, but when you actually just look at something like this, you can see that that's not the case. This, has always been something that people have speculated on in terms of value and appreciation. And here you go. I mean, I don't think there's any denying. You literally have it right in front of you. You just watch the video that Pokemon cards, people will claim it's a children's card game. Now, inherently, was it more targeted towards kids? Yes, but it's also a collectible. And what, for successful collectible card game or just collectible anything, what does it need to have? Value. So, people on the collecting side that don't care about value, because there's, people that care about value that collect. There's also people that don't. But for people that don't care about value, you got to understand that that is pretty much the basis of this whole industry is value. You might not care about value, but that doesn't mean that that's not how the market works and how the space works. I don't know why money is so demonized in just anything, right? I guess if you're on the side of the wholesome side, I guess I sort of get it. But some people, I feel like you can just not agree, but there's nothing to get upset about, right? You could, say that, oh, I don't want to invest in Pokemon because I don't want to, attach money to this stuff. I completely understand. Trust me. I used to collect cards, open everything, and not care about value. Seriously. But when I entered this investing space and I see the gains, the only thing you can really think about is the gains. So I'm not trying to persuade collectors to care about value all of a sudden, but, it is one of those things where sometimes being oblivious to whatever is the possibilities of some of the stuff is maybe better. But obviously, if you look at the monetary side of some of these things, it's hard to pass up when you have seen the gains. So just want to show you guys this very interesting post that I wanted to share. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and you guys can comment down below what you think of this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.